A long requested feature or collection of features is releasing today in Aibuild. The first one is the components library. So now all of the elements of the different printers in your library will be made up of these components within your library. Of course, there's a number of public ones here. You can also see just the ones that you have uploaded for your custom tools. And the same goes for all the other sections as well. And cutting tools are, of course, to follow. So when you set up a printer, it is now from these different collection of tool parts rather than just living in that very instance of the printer. So that makes setting up your printer and configuring the parts of that printer much more straightforward. The other, arguably bigger and more exciting one is profiles. Now this has certainly been long requested. We have had smart defaults for nozzle-based workflows for a long time. But certainly for metals and for anyone that wants to use their own repeatable settings, it has been challenging in the past. But now we have profiles, so you can save your own profiles in Aibuild, and you can think of them as your own smart presets, your own defaults, recipes, that kind of thing. They're made up of a tool, a material, and if you're working with a polymer tool, then you also select the nozzle. And within you find many of the classic or most important slicing and toolpath settings, layer height, speed, thickness, overlaps, speeds, extrusion control, jump settings, temperature settings. You can even override nozzle calibrations, and these can be specific to each line type as well. Especially for the metal side, it's now easier than ever to have your toolpath and slicing settings connected to specific welding schedules or jobs, depending on, of course, the welding hardware you have. So you no longer have to make that mental connection going forward. You can save them as a process parameter library in Aibuild and slice with them. When creating a new workflow, you have the option to enable profiles. So when you do this, you can see the list of relevant profiles for that tool and that material that you have picked for the workflow. We don't show all of the profiles that are from different tools or from different materials because we anticipate that customers will have many different presets to choose from. So when we pick this and we enter the workflow, and I'll just create a very quick, simple mesh for us to slice here, and I slice this, you can see that our default profile has been selected and the settings relating to that have been pre-filled, and you can see exactly what those ones are. You can still, of course, override them, so you don't have to be railroaded into those settings, and allows for minor tweaks and adaptations to achieve the specific things that your project needs. And of course, you can also pick a different profile too, so you don't have to use just one profile throughout. You can change it. You can use the edit operator to change the profiles too. So you can change them for specific polylines or certain layers, or based off some other selection metric, of course. You can disable and enable profiles at any time in any workflow. So I'll just slice this part very quickly. So that's my part sliced with the recipe, and I can disable the profile too. And here it simply puts all that back in based off what the profile already was. And if you are in a workflow with profiles not enabled, you can enable them and pick the relevant profile that suits the one that you need. Put that back in, recompute, of course, back to where we were before. In the toolpath operator, all those toolpath settings that were connected and relevant as well are also within, so you can override the profile settings in the toolpath operator as well if you need to take control over what you saved before. But you can save as many different combinations of profiles as you wish. So the user experience benefits are obvious. It is far easier and slicker to reuse settings that you've always reused before. For production environments, it means that you can pick from a category of validated and recognized process parameters and toolpath strategies. And for power users, it also means that they can now map a much wider variety of toolpath settings across their polylines by using different profiles. Before, you can only do it with speeds, but now you can do it with a lot more based off, of course, what specific parameters and settings you have for your printer setup. The processes that you see on top will be only for the printers that you have in your own library. So if you have only pellet extruders, then you will only see thermoplastic pellets, sorry. And if you only have laser wire or laser powder DED based systems, then you will only see those categories, so it doesn't clog it up once again. So in terms of what's next for this, we will be adding cutting tools into the components library where you can define the shape, model, geometry of your cutting tools, which will then seamlessly blend into the milling operators so that you can pick, like profiles, the cutting tool from your components library. And there will additionally be milling profiles, so you can save the combination of feeds and speeds and everything else relevant for milling, tie it to the certain cutting tools and the materials that you need to cut, so that it then becomes much more straightforward and automated to create the milling toolpaths themselves. And this is happening alongside a general improvement in our milling capability, so there should be some further expansion on that in terms of what we can achieve and the accuracy levels that we want to aim for as well.